Hey guys, good to see you. Today we're going to be talking about more sophisticated lead phrasing and kind of stepping away from noodling and why we need to stop noodling if we want to really get to that next level. So the question is, are you ready to take it to the next level? And if you are, do you know what you need to do? So, um, one of the reasons that we tend to get stuck in ruts is we don't know what's blocking our progress or what's holding us back and what we need to be practicing to get out of that. And there's a difference between practicing and playing. And are you just picking up the guitar and playing every day, or are you actually practicing the stuff that you don't know? And are you honest about what you don't know? So today, I'm going to be talking about some arpeggios and how you should familiarize yourself with these things, not in just one way, but in, let's say, 3 different ways. So we'll talk about 3 different ways that we can play these arpeggios, and we'll play 2 different types. We'll play maybe a major and a minor arpeggio today. We're going to be talking about arpeggios in the key of A. So if you know your A major 7 arpeggio, right? And we'll also be talking about the minor arpeggio. So if you know that's going to be on the B. So it'd be a B minor. Okay. So those 2 5-note little lines are going to be extremely crucial in what I want to develop for you today. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how I practice these things and apply them and turn them in. Not that they don't sound musical, but let's turn them into musical constructs. So first thing I want to talk about is, do you know your A major 7 arpeggio? Here's a quick little little walkthrough of it. The 1, 2, 3s on the lines, on the actual string lines, are just the order of the notes that I'm playing the notes. So 5th fret is the first note that I'm playing. 4th fret of the A string is the second note that I'm playing. 7th fret of the A string is the third note that I'm playing, and I'm sure you follow. Okay, so we need to know arpeggios like this, but we also need to know them. So here's how I like to say it. Can you play it with in the middle position, or the original shape, shape 1, right? The first shape that we learned, the arpeggio. Rooted on the 6th string, the low E string, right? It's rooted on the low E string. The A note is on the low E. So, okay, but can you play this same thing maybe in the, what I like to call the, maybe what you could call the right position or the backside position? And what I mean by that is, okay, I started this lick with my middle finger, or not lick, I'm sorry. I started this arpeggio with my middle finger. One more time. Okay, but now when I want to play maybe the same notes, but in this area of the fretboard, I'm going to start it with my pinky. I'm going to walk the triad and the arpeggio. See? So can you start the arpeggio with your pinky? Okay, rooted off the 6th string. Okay, so that's the same thing, right? As the middle finger, the basic one that we learned first. Okay, A major 7, middle position, A major 7, backside position. Now, can we play the front side position and continually stretch those same notes over and over and over up in pitch as we go down? So So this is the front side position. So can we play those same notes going this way now? Now I'm going to start this one with my middle finger still, but watch how my middle finger jumps to all the A roots. Okay? So you're going to see, okay? So that's basic, but let's not fret these two notes with our pinky and ring finger here. Let's, and then jump down with our index to fret those notes. Why? Because we're setting up this continual, okay, so the same first 5 notes, but the last 2 notes, the 4th and the 5th note, on the 6th and 7th fret of the D string are going to be fretted with our index and middle finger. Boom, hitting that root note with our middle finger again, starting that, starting that same, ascending line. So we're basically jumping to these last 2 notes with our index and our middle finger so that we can set up that middle finger, familiarity or that muscle memory that we've already built doing this. Right? We should be practicing that every day. And so when you learn how to stretch it, notice my hand doesn't stay stationary. It makes these jumps. Jump, jump, jump. Okay, so now we just walked into another. So I lied. There's 4 types of these arpeggios that you need to be practicing and familiarizing yourself with. So there's the middle position rooted on the 6th string. There's the backside position rooted on the 6th string, but starting with your pinky finger. There's the front side position where you're going to, concept where you're going to be sliding it and mapping it out across your whole fretboard. But then, now I'm walking back up, and as I walk back, I get to the end here, I hit the highest possible A that I can. Now I have to walk it back, right? But what I'm walking back into is actually the A major 7 arpeggio rooted on the 5th string. So find an A on the 5th string, whether it be the open A note or the 12th fret A note, and that's kind of what I'm walking back into right now. So, okay, so you can basically take this same shape concept that you were walking up here and do the same on the A string A note, right? Oh, but what happens? We come across that B string and it's flatted a half step, right, in relativity to our other strings, right? It's not a perfect 4th away in tuning like the rest of our other strings are. The B string is flatted a half step, right? So we come to that B string and it's not going to sound right. So we have to compensate. We have to change our shape. So this shape that you see right here is not going to relate to the shape rooted on the 5th string. So you got to learn how to play these things, and you can play the octaves of these things, and that's what that was, right? I'm rooting it on the low E string is, and then rooting it on the D string or the 4th string is another octave, right? And then rooting it on the, it's the same exact, now that pitch right there, rooted on the 4th string is the same exact pitch or or octave is the one that's rooted on the 5th string, 12th fret. But you need to be challenging yourself every day and playing these every day during your technique portion of your practice. You know, I'm always preaching the come in and do a little bit of ear training. Well, quickly, what is ear training? A quick example. If we take an A major triad, or we just take an A and then put the perfect 5th on there, and we want to turn it into a major triad. A, so, see how I guessed the pitch of what that major third was going to sound like? So that's a 1, that's a 5, and that's a major third. And it's not about singing, but you know, you have to be able to hear these things. If you can't hear it, you can't play it. So if I wanted to imagine, you know, and it's my buddy Frodo here. I don't know if you guys saw my dog get up right here. What's up, buddy? He's just hanging out. Frodo's just hanging out. He's a good boy. Sorry, guys. So if I wanted to imagine that minor third, so you test yourself in the morning. So that's a quick little example of how you can kind of test your ear and play with your ear and play with what you know. Now, let's get into our technique portion of the day, right? I like to split it in thirds. So we've got ear training right off the bat. You tune your guitar, you start playing with your ear. Then we're going to get into our technique portion or music theory portion. Well, technique and music theory kind of are the same thing. They apply to each other in the sense that it's a two-part system. There's the ability to learn the information, and there's the ability to apply the information. So we learn that a major 7 arpeggio looks like this, and it consists of those notes. And then we actually put our fingers to the fretboard or the strings. So that's the application, right? So I like to consider that's kind of the same thing. The learning and then the applying thing is still all part of music theory technique portion. So that's the second third of the practice plan that should be split into thirds. Now you come into your final portion, which is the fun, which I have fun during technique, but you come into your repertoire, right? Your songs that you're practicing or the stuff that you're writing, and you learn, hopefully, you take the concepts that you were just learning and blend them into your ability to improvise. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So we've talked about the different shapes to play the same thing, right? So we can play this sequence all over the fretboard. Now, let's talk about another one. Let's get into the A minor 7, okay? Now, this A minor 7 arpeggio, now this one's an A minor. It's rooted on the 5th fret. But today, we're going to be playing this in B minor. A B minor arpeggio. So take this same shape that you know. Take the same shape you know and just slide it up a whole step. Right? And we're going to do the same things with this concept, okay? We're going to play the version that we know, right? The up and down like that you see right here. If you've seen my last arpeggio video, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to play that middle position. Now we're going to try to play it backwards On the back side, with our pinky starting, see that? So now we know the back side, so let's also learn how to bring this guy down. Same concept. We can't get lazy with our hand when we learn how to stretch it across the fretboard. We've got the, right? So, boom, fall back into the 5th string version of it, right? So learn how to walk this on the 5th fret. So learn how to play this rooted on the 5th string, sorry, not the 5th fret. And we can see how we're playing it on the 14th fret B. Let's go play it on the 2nd fret B. Just for shoots and giggles. Okay, so we know how to map this arpeggio out across the entire fretboard. Now I'm going to put, I guess I'll put both of them up, and to kind of explain how we're going to be walking from one to the other. Okay, and so, okay, we've practiced for 30 minutes ear training. Now we've done 30 minutes of this, 15 minutes each on each style of arpeggio, the major and the minor. We've done we've walked them in all the different directions. We've familiarized ourselves with them, and now we're going into repertoire. Well, what are the 2 chords? So let's just pick a major and a minor chord, a major 1 and a minor 2 chord. If you know anything about the chord scale relationships, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'm going to have a video talking about chord scale relationships, meaning just, you know, there's a triad that has a certain nature built off of it for each note in the scale. So the first note would be a major, the second note would be a minor, the third note would be a minor, the 4th note is a major, the 5th note is a major, the 6th note is a minor, and the 7th note is a diminished triad, and then which is also known as the leading tone, and that leads you right back into 1 or 8, the octave, right? Into the next. So, but let's get into the fun part of the day, right? So let's do a major 7, 1. In fact, let's actually do that in A major, right? Because that's kind of what we were doing earlier. So maybe I'll lay down, and having a loop pedal is great for this kind of stuff. Okay, so A major 7 to B minor 7. Okay, maybe kick on your drive pedal, your overdrive pedal, your tube screamer. And now we're going to maybe add a bass line. Okay. So I played around just the bottom strings, right? I played that A major arpeggio, and then I played the B minor bass strings, right? The bottom strings, just to kind of, and notice I didn't play the exact sequence, I kind of bounced back and forth, right? Now, if we remember the walking it up the neck, let's take that second octave then the same with the second octave of the B minor. So So take everything you practiced and try to apply it musically to what you're doing in your repertoire portion, the final portion of your practice. Okay? So that's it. You know, there's got to be some structure. You've got to be challenging yourself to get to that next level. Okay? Once again, you guys are great. Thanks for tuning in. And website should be live this weekend, so be ready. First book's going to be free. It's on me. Check out the rest of them. I got some really good stuff in there, guys. I put my heart and soul into these books, so stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, if you like this video, be sure to like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, whatever you got to do, so you can come back and see me again and get better at playing your guitar. Thank you, guys.